Hello, welcome back. Right, before I get started on this video, I just want to say, David Monday, I really enjoyed the Arthur play. One of my subscribers sent me the play to the Kinks Arthur album that was aired last year on the BBC. Well, thank you very much, mate. I did listen to it and I quite enjoyed it, actually. I found myself got a lot going along, and I will be listening to it again at some point, but thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. I have the best subscribers. Anyway, it's the weekend, and on the last video I made, Billy Wildfield asked, loving the frequent uploads, Stripey? Good. I was wondering if you could do a video on Tom Waits' acting career. I don't know how many of his films you've seen, but I've only seen Down by Law, but as a huge fan, I'd love to learn more about this side of his career. I've only heard positive things. Thanks. Great video as always. So thank you very much, mate, and thanks for the question. I mean, I haven't seen all Tom Waits' films. Obviously, when you asked me that question, I went on and had a little look how many he's done. He's done loads. I've got a lot of catching up to do, but I've seen a few. So I'll go through his films quickly with you and point out the ones that I've seen. So let's get on with it, shall we? Right, Tom has actually been starring in films, or I wouldn't say starring in films, but having bit roles in movies since 1978. And would you believe it, that's why I'm wearing this t-shirt. The first person to give him an acting role was Sylvester Stallone in the 1978 film Paradise Alley.
What are you saving it for?
I don't know, man. Maybe a big finish.
Well, listen to me. You better get out more often because you're starting to turn a little gray.
Now, I thought Tom Waits was made for this. He plays Mumbles, just a drunken piano player in a bar. It's designed for Tom. He's brilliant with his neck swinging. But that's the first time I ever see Tom Waits in a movie. Then, according to the internet, in 1981, he was a drunken bar owner, uncredited, in a movie called Wolfen, which I haven't seen. I think that one stars Albert Finney. Also in 1981, he had a very big part as a trumpet player in Francis Ford Coppola's film, One from the Heart. Now, any Tom Waits fan would tell you the soundtrack is amazing, because Tom does the soundtrack along with Crystal Gale. It's a central part of Tom Waits' catalogue. It's beautiful. The film's pretty good. I've watched it once or twice. Like I said, it's the music that keeps it going along for me. Bit arty, bit out there, but yeah, it was alright. Not a bad film. In 1983, he appears as Buck Merrill, little bit part again, in the movie The Outsiders. Now, I did watch this, but I mean, we're talking back 1981. If you look at the pictures of Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, Emilio Estevez, you know, they're all in it. You know, Matt Dillon, Karate Kid, they're all in it. So I haven't seen that film for a long, long time, but Tom has a little bit part in that. Also in 1983, he turns up in, again, Francis Ford Coppola's Rumblefish, along with Matt Dillon, Chris Penn, Nicolas Cage, Mickey Rourke and Dennis Hopper. This is a must-watch. This is a great film with a really good soundtrack, actually. One of my subscribers, again, sent me a soundtrack through the post on vinyl, and it was Rumblefish. And the soundtrack's by Stuart Copeland from The Police. Great film. All in black and white. Gangs, really. But Tom has a part called Benny. He is the cafe owner where they all hang out, and he has a couple of really cool lines in the movie.
Time is a very peculiar item. You see, when you're young, you're a kid, you got time, you got nothing but time.
Keep an eye out for that one, I would say. Then in 1984, he had a bit part in a film called Stone Boy. I've never seen it, so I can't comment. Also in 1984, he had a bit part in The Cotton Club alongside Richard Gere, Gregory Hines. I think I saw it back in the day, but like I said, 1984. Tom plays Erwin Stark. I can't remember. It's been so long. I'll have to sort of try and track that one down and watch it again. Right, 1986. This is amidst, you know, Sawfish Trombone, Rain Dogs, Frank Algiers, that time. Jim Jarmusch, Tom's first starring role in Down by Law.
Let the wee baby know that you still love him.
I love Down by Law. Set around New Orleans, all around the bayou. It's a great film about three guys planning to breaking out of a prison, and well, getting arrested, getting in jail, then getting out of jail. But it's not really about how they do that. It's more their relationship with each other. It's a great film. Really like Down by Law, and it's got an awesome soundtrack with some Tom Waits songs throughout. And in 1987, Tom Waits goes up against one of the greats, in my opinion, in Ironweed, alongside Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep.
Oh. Doc says I got cancer. First thing I ever got.
Jack Nicholson is definitely up there as one of my favourite actors. And Tom plays Rudy, the bum, the drunken bum. It's brilliant. You know, he turns up in a suit right at the beginning, and Jack praises him on the suit. He goes, "I got cancer. First thing I ever got." It's brilliant. Beautiful, heart-wrenching film, and it suits the characters in that film, Ironweed, are the characters in Tom Waits' records, in my opinion. You know, that Skid Row type character, you know, the bums, the down and outs, the drunks. Marvellous film, and I'm due to watch that one again. Keep your eye out for that one. Then in 1988, he's the narrator in a James Spader film called Greasy Lake. Now, I haven't seen this, but it's on YouTube, and I was having a little listen, and he's like the guy narrating the film, and it is wonderful if you're into Tom Waits' stories and the way he tells them. Fantastic. Also, he's in Candy Mountain, but I haven't seen Candy Mountain. But also in 1988, he stars as himself in Big Time.
Inside a broken clock, splash the wine with all the windows.
The concert movie that we all want to see on Blu-ray, please. I love Big Time. It's the concert movie. It's up there with one of the best, you know, up there with Talking Heads and all that. 1989, Bearskin, an urban fairy tale, not seen. Also, Cold Feet. Now, I think it's Keith Carradine, David Carradine's brother, and Bill Pullman's in this, and Tom's got quite a big role, but I haven't actually seen it. He plays Kenny. I think Kenny's a killer or something, I'm not sure, but I need to track down a copy of that. Also that year, Jim Jarmusch made Mystery Train, and this is on HD on YouTube. You can actually watch that. I'll link it down below if I remember. And he's the radio DJ in it. So, but I haven't seen that one myself, but it's a Jim Jarmusch. Looks kind of interesting though. 1990, again, he plays against Jack Nicholson in The Two Jakes, which is a sequel really to Chinatown, the Roman Polanski film, the sort of like film noir or neo-noir or crime. Bloody marvellous. He's uncredited. He plays a detective in it, but fantastic. And in 91, he was alongside Tom Berenger at Play at the Fields of the Lord. Yes, I did watch it back in the day, but I can't really remember it that well. Another one I have to revisit, I guess. He plays a character called Wolf. Also in 91, he plays alongside Jeff Bridges, the dude from The Big Lebowski, and Robin Williams, God rest his soul, in The Fisher King. And he plays like a beggar, a disabled veteran, you know, beggar. Another nice little bit part. Tom does sort of stand out in that role as well. Also, there's Queen's Logic. Now, I haven't seen Queen's Logic, but he seems to have a fairly big role in it as Monty. And then, obviously, that year, he don't star in this, but he's all over it. Jim Jarmusch's Night on Earth. I really like that film. Haven't seen it for years, but when it came out, I watched it over and over and over. And like I said about One from the Heart earlier, it's Essential Waits. You know, the soundtrack is done by Tom Waits, and it's a must-own. It's great. Then 92, he stars as Renfield in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Would you care for an old Dr. Theodore or Candyman?
No, thank you, Mr. Renfield.
And in my opinion, the best. And he is knocking it about with some of the big ones. Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman, you know, some really, really respectable top actors. And he's fantastic as Renfield in it. And in 1993, he plays Earl Piggott alongside Lily Tomlin in Shortcuts, the Robert Altman movie. It's a great film with a stellar cast, you know, Chris Penn, Robert Downey Jr., loads of people. But it's quite unsettling to watch, you know. It's, you know, all the different stories. There's all these different stories that all kind of intertwine with each other. It's quite a long film, but yeah, no, well worth a watch, but it's not pleasant viewing throughout. Then in 1999, he turns up in Mystery Men. Now, I've seen this loads of time. He plays Doc Heller, and it's like Ben Stiller, loads of them, and they're dodgy superheroes. It's funny, but it is quite good. And Tom Waits' character is hilarious. He goes to the old folks' home and picks up the old ladies. In 2003, he turns up in Jim Jarmusch's film. Jim Jarmusch and Tom have got a relationship, obviously. Coffee and Cigarettes. Have seen this film, went to see it at the cinema as well. It's not my favourite, you know, but I do enjoy the Tom Waits section with Iggy Pop sitting there talking. It feels very ad-libby, probably is ad-libby, but I don't know. But if you're a Tom fan, I suppose it's worth watching. He's only got a small segment in it, him and Iggy Pop. It's not a bad film. A little bit off the wall for my liking, to be honest. Then in 2005, he turns up in Domino. That's got Mickey Rourke and Keira Knightley. And this is great. As he turns up, he's like the Wanderer. And as his car's driving through the desert, you can hear, Jesus gonna be here.
Jesus gonna be here, gonna be here soon.
And his character is just Tom Waits. Then he turns up at the intro of Tiger in the Snow. I haven't seen the film. I think it's a foreign film, Italian. But Tom Waits is playing You Can Never Hold Back Spring at the wedding at the beginning. So I've seen that on YouTube. So that was kind of nice. I only watched that the other day, actually. And in 2006, he plays Nella in that bizarre little weird film. I haven't seen it for a while. Wrist Cutters, a love story. I remember it being a kind of a bit weird. It's like after people die, they commit suicide, wrist cutters, obviously. And when they go to wherever they go after, they've got similar sort of crap going on up there. Tom was kind of cool in it, though. And in 2009, Terry Gilliam's bizarre fantasy film, The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. And Tom plays Mr. Nick, the devil. It's great. It's a bit weird, and it is very Terry Gilliam, if you know what I mean. Very out there and off the wall. But it's got a massive cast, you know, Jude Law, Johnny Depp, Christopher Plummer, loads and loads and loads of great people in it. And Tom Waits is fantastic as Mr. Nick. And in 2010, he's up there punching with him again, The Book of Eli, with Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman. And Tom Waits plays the engineer. And in 2012, he plays in 7 Psychopaths, and he plays Zachariah. That's a bizarre one. Got Colin Farrell, Christopher Walken, Woody Harrelson. I mean, bizarre characters. And Tom Waits is fantastic. Fantastic. A bit shocking in places, but well worth a watch. And in 2018, obviously the Coen brothers, he had a segment of his own. I think it was called The All Gold Canyon, in The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Mr. Pocket, he plays a prospector, and Tom Waits steals the show as far as I... Well, the first story is really, really good as well, but Tom Waits in it. Then also in 2018, he turns up with Robert Redford and Danny Glover in Old Man with a Gun, and I plan to watch that this weekend. Looks really kind of interesting. He plays Waller. That brings us up to date, 2019. the last movie, Jim Jarmusch's The Dead Don't Die. Tom Waits plays Hermit Bob, but I haven't seen this one yet. But his character kind of looks interesting. He's been compared to the Cowardly Lion in this, looks-wise, but I haven't seen the film yet, so I can't comment. So there you go. As well as 17 studio albums, 2 soundtrack albums, 3 live albums, 12 tours, singles, videos, an Orphans box set. And he's featured on so many, as a guest on so many people's albums, you know, Gavin Bryant. You can go on and on and on. So, since 1973, Tom Waits has been a very, very busy man. So I hope you like the video, Billy. I would like to have really gone right into it, but they're the ones I can remember that I've seen, that I've enjoyed. I would certainly track down Dr. Parnassus, obviously Big Time. Rumblefish is essential. Well, go through them, mate. Just go through them. He doesn't turn up often, and sometimes he might only have a little bit part in a film, but there's something really sweet about it. So there we go. So, right, I'm going to round it up because I know this video's gone on forever. Hope you enjoyed it, mate. I'll be back with another ramble. Have a great weekend, guys. Real soon. Bye now.